last Thursday. Iranian ibex, like those animals we talked about last Thursday. And this will be the part about the two animals. So like, we read the parts together as a review. So like here, but there's a very good chance. Excuse me, please start from the first word, but there's a. This word by species. Can be made to walk in the world again. It even include Ice Age animals like the woolly mammoth. In 2009, scientists, this word is a Iranian ibex. Thank you. Could you please start in 2009? Scientists recreated the Iranian ibex, which had become extinct about a decade earlier. The new animal didn't survive long. It died only 7 minutes after its birth. Yeah, this was the part we talked about last night. And here, last Thursday, if you still remember, we talked about the moral issues of bringing extinct animals back to life. And we also talked about the possible technique and what kind of progress we human beings have made so far. And here in the second part of the reading, we're going to talk about what kind of difficulty and what kind of moral issues we face. I mean, like for the years to come. So, like, if you please move on with the next part here, yet scientists. To improve this and scientific, this was about advances. Should increase the success rate. In 2013, Australian scientists gastric brooding frog. Could you please read over once again? Gastric brooding. Thank you. So here, could you please start from this part? Australian scientists announced that they were on their way to bringing the gastric brooding frog, a native of Eastern Australia, which perished in the mid-1980s. That's right. Yeah, sorry, there should be a hyphen, like mid and then a hyphen and then 1980s. So like here in Unit 11, we talked about many kinds of animals, but about gastric brooding frog, did you talk about that in your biology class? You know frog, right? But what about gastric? Gastric means about your stomach, and brooding means hatch, H-A-T-C-H. So when you say hatch in Chinese, you might say 孵蛋 hatch. So like here, gastric brooding frogs means those frogs which use their stomachs to hatch, to give birth to the next generation inside their body. Very weird. This will be the picture of a gastric brooding frog. But here, before I show you the real look of how this animal really like how this animal really works, then if you are eating breakfast, maybe you like to pause for a little while, because the next picture is how the gastric brooding frog really like works. Okay, yeah, so this would be the real look. Do you know how it really gives birth to the next generation? Gastric means now here, this will be, can you recognize this? This will be the baby frog. And this will be the mother frog. So like mother frog. Mama frog, papa frog, baby frog. Like here, mother frog basically brews the eggs inside her stomach, and she gives birth to the baby, like in the stomach, and then maybe, like kangaroos. Kangaroos use the little bag in front of their body to keep their babies, and here this gastric brooding frogs, they use their stomachs to keep the babies. So like here, at first sight, I mean, like you might wonder how it eats, but like after the baby frogs come out from the mother's body, then yeah, everything will be back to normal. I guess that's how it really works. But like here, this will be the Chinese explanation. So like here, the gastric brooding frogs are native to the Eastern eastern side of Australia and the big eyes. And some people told me, like at first sight, their eyes look like the pearls in pearl milk tea. Yeah, but I hope next time if you enjoy some pearl milk tea, you wouldn't think of the frogs. But like anyway, yeah, really cute. But here, as a symbol of endangered animals. But here, like the mother frog would keep the eggs in her body so that they would brood next generation inside. What? No, I mean like here this would be maybe when the baby is being hatched inside of the stomach. The mother would use I'm not sure. If I have the information, I will share it with you. But anyway, this is for this information. And here, the gastric breeding frogs like disappeared in the 1980s. I guess like this would be like 30 years ago. Yeah. So like here, the reason is still not so clear. Basically, it could be because the lack of habitat for those animals. It's okay. Yeah, we can move on. So like here for this part, yet scientists are continuing to make every effort to. So I may ask you the word. We talked about it before, effort, but here when you say make every effort to, what would be the Chinese name meaning? May I ask you? Eva. So like when we talk about make every effort to, if you mean like they are making every effort to prepare for their final exam, because finals are coming, like, you're right. So like here means that make every effort to just mean do your best to do something. Do your best to. But here my question is， 这个地方在用 effort 的时候，中文的努力感觉像是一个状态，不会去数它。But here like in English, if you say, so if you use the word effort, you mean like you do something in order to achieve your goal. So like in English, if you like to talk about work hard, 努力的话呢 the original expression would be。You see every， 所以 every 代表搭配可数名词，对不对？所以刚才讲 work hard，you would use make an effort，make an effort。所以如果你说他正在努力的要准备他的表演 ，she's making an effort to prepare for her performance. Next one， 所以这个地方如果你说 make an effort，that would be the original expression. But sometimes now， 有的时候现在这边用久了以后，有人会说 make efforts。It's okay, but the original expression would be make an effort, means you work hard. Make every effort, do your best. But now we also say you need to make efforts to accomplish your goal. So if you say make efforts, also the same thing. 但是就是说这个地方 make every effort, the meaning is stronger. You mean like you try your best. It's okay. So like when was the last time you made every effort to do something? When was the last time you made every effort to do something? I ask you in the year 2015, Bell. In the year 2015, when was the last time you made every effort to do something? Oh, you mean the school party? Yeah, okay. So like here, would you make every effort to make sure that your mom or dad is happy on their birthdays? Did you ever do something special on your dad's or mom's birthday? No? Really? So like here, on your parents' birthdays, what do you do? Happy birthday, and just say. So like yeah, I guess on your parents' birthday, usually we would try our best to make sure like our parents would receive the kindness from us. Do you know your parents' birthdays? Really? Really? Amy, Daddy, do you know your mom's birthday? Really, when's your mom's birthday? Come on. My mom? Like every year, I try to do something special for my mom. You know why? Yeah. I mean, every year. This year, I did something stupid. But like here, the reason why I try to do something special for my mom is because my mom's birthday is on the last day of the year. Like my mom's birthday is on New Year's Eve, like December 31st. So like every year, she would feel that everybody is celebrating for her, but I would tell her no. Mom, I'm having fun. Really? Like, won't you stay for some dinner with me? Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, and I will leave my home, stuff like that. So like here, do you have any friends who were born on some special days of the year? like Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, or January 1st, like that. Yeah, maybe. But here, when you say make every effort to do your best to improve this technology and scientific advances. May I ask you what the word advances mean? Zoe is not here. So may I ask you what the word advance means, like in scientific advances? When you say advance, 这个是看起来有点像是动词，可这地方 advance 变当名词 progress, scientific progress or scientific development 当科学上面的进展哦，所以这地方 scientific advances, scientific developments should it increase the success rate. When you say increase, another word for increase that begins with the letter R 可以提高成功的几率 would raise the success rates. Okay, yeah, RAISE 提高成功率。In 2013, Australian art scientists announced that they were on their way to. When you say somebody is on their way, maybe in the past you would say the person is going somewhere but hasn't arrived at the place yet. But like if you say somebody is on his or her way to doing something, you mean they haven't finished it and they are working on it. So when you say be on one's way to doing something, you mean this. Okay. 可这地方稍微注意一下，这边后面算是 to 的话，因为是一件事情，所以 you might say I'm on my way to the completion of my report. 我快要把报告做完了，所以这地方后面接 ing 代表要做一件事情，所以这边算是 to be on one's way to something. You still need to use the ing form. Okay. So here, in other words, you want to say like Australian scientists announced that they were in the middle of doing something. 在做某事的当中 in the middle of doing something. So like in one's way to doing something, in the middle of doing something means you haven't finished that and you are trying to finish it as soon as possible. It's okay? Yeah. And then like to bring in a gastric breeding frog, a native of Eastern Australia, which perished in the mid-1980s back to life. So when you say a native of, in Chinese, what would be the translation? Claire, may I ask you? If you say gastric breeding frog is a native of Eastern Australia, the part a native of would be this. It is okay. Yeah, so like here, you can say like Formosan black bears are a native of Taiwan. So we can say native of. But 不要被问题是当在讲单词的时候，这个不用特别背啊。可是如果拿掉的话，这边要改啦。If you say 这边 bring the gastric breeding frogs, Eastern Australia which perished in the mid-1980s， 这个地方的拿掉的话 ，native 这边就不是名词喽，这边当形容词用哦，就是原本栖息在哪里的。所以这地方如果是这样的话，变成是 gastric breeding frog which was native， 然后这个地方的 of 就要变成是 to 哦，这样可以吗？所以这边变成是 like Australia announced that they were on their way to bring a gastric breeding frog which was native to Eastern Australia. It's okay. So if you say something is a native, then a native of. But if you say something is native, then something is native to a place. It's okay. So the prepositions we use are different. Like here, the next part, which perished in the mid-1980s back to life. If you say perished, I don't think we talked about perish before, but the meaning of the word perishes means vanish. Vanish, V-A-N-I-S-H. So like here, the Eastern Australian, a native of Eastern Australia, which vanished in the mid-1980s back to life. It's okay. So 这里方会1980年代加 S 直接 S 在后面。It's okay. That means from 1981 to 1989. It's okay. Yeah. So like here, before we move on, could you please read the part once again? Get scientists. This word, could you please read once again? Advances.
Advances should increase the success rate. In 2013, Australian scientists announced that they were on their way to bring a gastric breeding frog, a native of Eastern Australia which perished in the mid-1980s.
Back back to life. And this would be the woolly mammoth, and this would be the Pyrenean ibex, and this would be the gastric crab, like for your reference. Okay. So here we need to move on to one more part. We need to be able to bring species.
Being able to bring species that doesn't mean that we should be
reviving a species. However, we cannot accurately forecast what the result might be, nor can we deal with the possible disaster. Take passenger pigeons, for example, living in flocks made up of billions of birds. They used to be one of the most common birds on the planet. Yeah, so like here in the previous paragraph we talked about the frog, and in this paragraph we talk about pigeons. But I guess when you think of pigeons, like it's hard for us to imagine that pigeons are in danger of like disappearing forever. But like here for passenger pigeons, this would be something really happened a long time ago. This would be the look of passenger pigeons. Yeah, so like it looks like a normal pigeon, right? But like here, this would be a short explanation. Originally, like they were native to Northern America, but their like total population is up to 100 million. 100 million like passenger pigeons in Northern America. But now you see like the last one disappeared in 1914, and now they are totally gone from the earth. It's hard to imagine, right? But like here, did you ever see people selling birds? Like in some counties like Hualien or Pingdong. Like if you ever went there, did you see people selling birds on the side of the road? Like in the past, because it was too long ago. So like this is just a picture of how the sky or what sky looked like when those passenger pigeons they fly in the sky. But this is something real. This is a picture. You see how people like really treat the birds? They would hunt them. They would hunt them on a large scale, like this. And you know why? Because some people said, the meat of the pigeons would taste delicious. So like here they would hunt the pigeons for food. So like different from like elephants or whales, we hunt them for their body parts. Pigeons, like people in the past, they hunted them for their meat. Because did you ever eat frogs before? Frogs. I guess in Taiwan sometimes you can eat frogs because in Taiwan the meat of frogs we don't call it frog meat, we call it chicken meat. 吃过蛙肉吗？没吃过，蛙肉在台中式料理不叫蛙肉，叫田鸡，叫田鸡。所以maybe now we don't like to eat frogs as people in the past did, because in the past when farmers they caught a lot of frogs, they couldn't do anything about them, so they could only cook them. And for birds too, because in the past, birds would eat rice before the farmers they harvested the rice. 在收成以前会吃他们的稻米，所以 they would hunt the birds to prevent them from eating the rice on the field. But after they found that the meat tasted good, they started to hunt them on a large scale, like this. You see, they are all birds. Pretty sad, right? Yeah, so like here maybe at the beginning, people didn't realize that after they kept hunting the birds on a large scale, they would endanger the species. But gradually, you see like the population because people might think, oh, there were a lot of passenger pigeons, so it would be okay if we kill like 10 or 20 of them just for our food. But like gradually, those pigeons they just died out, disappeared. Yeah, pretty sad. Okay, and here in Taiwan, I guess there would be a kind of animal that you might know better, which would be the sharks. 鲨鱼。现在全球影响最大的渔类是鲨鱼，知道吗？另外一点，鲨鱼要拿来干嘛？吃啊，yeah, I know, but we don't eat the sharks for their meat. We eat them for their face. 鲨鱼是主要是鱼翅哦，知道吗？ Like in the end of the lesson, I will show you a video which is really sad. Yeah. So anyway, like this will be the part Being able to bring species back doesn't mean that we should do it. There may be many benefit of. 这个地方稍微注意一下。We can say many we usually double together many a good man has been destroyed by drink. 这个地方注意一下，这边呢 many 你会发现这边 like you need when you have many you have it sounds weird. So like here the reason why we have this kind of expression is because we would like to emphasize the meaning, attract people's attention. 这样奇怪的句型或者是为了要强调意思用。And now we only use it in paper or like formal documents. 只会在研究报告或是在很正式的文件里面才会这样用。Otherwise, we just use like many. It's okay. 所以这地方的 many of benefits 这个地方是一个 formal 的用法，接可数名词单数哦，就指的是 many benefits。所以这地方的拿掉就变复数，但这地方的 many 只是要强调这件事情。It's okay. 所以这地方 now like in our writing, we just don't use it. But like when you see it, you just need to know the meaning. Then it's okay. You know what I mean? 所以这地方你说 many good men， 这边就指的是 many people， 可是后面动词接的是单数哦，因为它这地方已经是 a good man， 所以这个地方后面搭配的动词也是单数，名词也是单数。It's okay. Yeah. And here, there may be many benefits, many advantages of reviving a species. 这个地方提醒一下 ，species 加单数。And here, revive a species means bringing a species back from extinction. 等于说指的是使一个物种再次的复活，再次的回到世界上来。However, we cannot accurately forecast what the results might be. Here is a little reminder for you when you say cannot. Here, the way we use the word can and not, either can't or can, or cannot, but no cannot. 这地方稍微注意一下 ，cannot 是唯一不这样用的。这地方这两个字不能把它分开写 ，very weird. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. 所以这地方 either 缩写 or 连在一起，可是不会像 will 一样把它分开两个字。You know what I mean? So that this is still a format of the language. 所以这个地方你会看到说这边它不会把它分开两个 can not 两个字写，会把它放在一起。It's okay. So now this is the only word that we still keep this kind of usage. Right here, however, we cannot correctly, accurately forecast. So I may ask you forecast 一个字 P 开头的 what should be the word? Julie, I ask you the word forecast. Predict. Thank you. And here there will be another word that begins with the E. You can say we cannot correctly predict. We cannot correctly forecast. We cannot correctly. There's a word that begins with the E. 估计 estimate. E-S-T-I-M-A-T. So like forecast, predict, estimate, similar words. Okay, 这只是预估一件事情。Yeah. And what the results might be, nor can we deal with the possible disasters. So when you say cannot, nor, yes, if here you change the word, you change the sentence with the word neither. 这地方如果是 neither 的话，可以怎么改呢？如果你说 nevertheless, we cannot correctly predict what the results might be. 这边如果是 neither 的话呢，就要变成是，因为 nor 的话可以当形容词，所以这地方直接逗号 nor。是 neither 的话就变成是 and neither， 还记得吗？这个地方如果当 neither 的话，它只能当副词用，所以前面一定要有 and 哦。See, so like here, it can either be we cannot correctly predict what the results might be, and neither can we deal with. It's okay. 所以这地方两个重点，一个重点是 neither 一定要有连接词，第二个是后面要用倒装哦。所以这地方 neither can we, nor can we deal with the possible disasters. It's okay. Yeah. And here for the word disaster, there is another word that begins with the T. I ask you, disaster, 灾难或是悲剧 ，T 开头的 tragedy, T-R-A-G-E-D-Y. So when you say tragedy or tragedies, you also mean like something sad that happened. It's okay. So it could be, a man-made event or a natural phenomenon. It's okay. Yeah. So I here take passenger pigeons for example, living in flocks made up of billions of birds. They used to be one of the most common birds on the planet. 这地方可以看一下吗 ？Living 跟 they 这边一个小句型，所以如果看到 ing 又有逗号的话，这边其实应该看出来原本是重复主词哦。所以可以问一下吗？如果是重复主词的话，原本的主词应该是 Yes, you Ruby. Here the word living. So So like here, if you use ing, then the original subject should be yeah. The word they means passenger pigeons, right? Yeah. 所以这个地方的 living 的主词也是 passenger pigeons。所以这个地方 passenger pigeons。那因为两个句子嘛，所以这个地方的连接词应该是他们以数十亿的族群生活，他们过去是最常见的鸟类，所以这个地方其实这边的语义，如果只是很模糊的话，直接拿掉。原本可以是 when they live in flocks, the pigeons used to It's okay。所以这边只复习一下，如果是两个句子，那这个连接词本身的意思很弱的话，拿掉以后 they 拿掉 live 要变成 living。所以在读的时候呢，就这个地方就只是在理解，只是说如果遇到 like questions, you know, like when you see ing or ed, you know, that the subjects are repeated and the connectors are taken away. So like this would be the form of the final sentence. Okay. And here, living in flocks made up of billions of birds that used to be blah blah blah. And here, if you say flocks made up of, 这句话呢在这里 when they live in flocks made up of billions of birds， 这个地方看到 made。但是这边已经有主要动词，代表这个地方的 make 前面是有东西被省略了，应该是以一个被数十亿的数量所组成的群组，所以这个地方 flux 这边应该是被组成，所以这边应该有东西被省略是 which were 哦，这样可以吗？所以这地方原句的话，如果一字不漏的话，应该是 when they live in flux which were made up of。这样的概念呢，就是目前上学期会再提醒你一下，因为这个东西有时候会影响你的句型是，等读整篇的意思上不会有太大的问题。可是在写题目的时候呢，就是有时候看到 ing 跟 ed 都是同一个句子的时候，这地方如果是问你这个字的话，你要稍微确定一下说，因为它是跟着前面的族群一起移动的一个形容词子句，等于说以一个由数十亿数量所组成的族群，他们过去是怎样，所以这个地方整个是修饰前面的 flux。It's okay. So like here the original sentence would be, when they lived in flux, which were made up of billions of birds, they used to be blah blah blah. It's okay. Yeah. So this is it. Any questions? If not, could you please read the part together? Being able to bring species.
Being able to bring species that doesn't make that we should. There may be many methods of reminding species. However, we cannot accurately.
This word is about accurately. Forecast what the results might be. Nor can we deal with the possible disasters. Pigeons, for example, living in flocks made up of billions of birds. They used to be one of the most common birds on the planet. I would say like in Taiwan, there is a similar example. Like when you were in elementary school, maybe you read stories about 捕捞鸟, like in Taiwan. Like in Taiwan, there used to be many birds of that species, and people in Taiwan, because we kill them in large numbers, so like now, that kind of bird is in danger of totally disappearing from Taiwan, like that. Like here, this will be the next part. Please read it together. Flocks of migrating passengers. Dark in the sky, and it sounded like thunder when they flapped their wings. Vanished a century ago because of being hunted on a massive scale. If we make it possible for, there's no knowing whether they will still be able to live in their old habitats. Will they crowd out any remaining species? Will their great consumption of seeds affect the growth of trees? So that here, this was the question we talked about last Thursday. Like here, if you really bring that animal back to life, would they influence the current population of animals on Earth? Like if you bring the woolly mammoth back to the Earth, would they threaten the life of other elephants or other animals? This would be something that we never thought of before, but now it's possible. Okay, yeah. So like here we talk about flocks of migrating passenger pigeons. The word migrating just means moving. Moving from place A to place B, 迁徙的鸟类. So like here, you go flux. Easy. What about bees? 一群鸟类。那蜜蜂呢 ？S 开头的。Swarm, S-W-A-R-M。这个地方小心在念 R 的时候呢，这边 arm 没有 SW 的时候，是加上 SW 变成 swarm， it's okay. So when you say swarm of bees, you just mean like 一大群。But what about sheep? A word that begins with the letter H. Right here, flocks of birds, swarms of bees, herds of sheep. 这地方呢有两个字可以注意一下 ，flock 除了可以指的是鸟类以外，也可以拿来指 sheep。所以你可以说 there are a flock of sheep on the hill. 山丘上有一群绵羊。所以这地方 herds 跟 flocks 这地方 flocks 特别是可以拿来指的是 cattle. So you can say a herd of cattle 牲畜 or a herd of sheep 一群羊。It's okay, easy. So here for the word flock. But here for the word flock 有一个小谚语有听过吗 ？Birds of a birds of what together. You know what I mean? Here 这地方 birds of f 听过吧？物以类聚啊，物以类聚。Birds of 同样什么的鸟 ？Birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. That means people of the same interests used to get along with each other. They would hang out with each other. But here, birds of a feather. 这个地方的 a feather 指的是 a kind. The same kind of feather. It's okay. So you can say like people who share the same kind of interest can hang out with each other very often. It's okay. So here, would you please read all together birds of a feather? Yeah, so here the word flock will be used as a verb, 只是群居活动 like that. It's okay. And here for darken the sky, the word darken just means like make something dark. So like darken means becomes dark. 所以这地方上 darken 的时候呢，是一个动词，指的是自己变暗或是使变暗。所以你可以说 that cloud darkened the sky, or the sky darkened when it got late. 这个地方可以是使变或者自己变暗，所以你说天空变暗了，当晚一点的时候 ，the sky darkened when it got late. It's okay. And here 另外一个字可以用的是这个，跟前面这个一样，可这个比较常用，中音放在第二个音节，所以会 say about obscure. Obscure 其实在写的时候比较常用，比较常看到。So when you say obscure, also means this. So you can say the flock of birds obscured the view of the sky. 飞过去的鸟类呢，把天空都遮住了。所以 obscure 当动词的时候指的是使变暗。另外一个比较常用，指的是the fog makes the view obscure. 那一场大雾呢，让眼前的景象变得很模糊，所以 obscure 其实比较常看到是形容词哦，当模糊的使用。当另外一个是 fb 开头的 vague， 所以你说 everything becomes obscure in the fog， 在雾里面呢，每样东西都变得很模糊，所以 obscure 就是模糊的，也可以用 vague vague。但是当你用 vague 的时候，比较指的是你的意见不清楚，所以你说 her opinion is quite vague。She needs some explanation for her ideas. 她需要解释一下她的想法。It's okay. So here you can read the word obscure. Yeah, so you can say obscure the sky, and it sounded like thunder when they flapped their wings. This species disappeared 100 years ago because of being hunted on a massive scale. So when you say being hunted on a massive scale, how would you like explain the sentence? Jenny, may I ask you, when you say being hunted on a massive scale? 指的是翻译的话变成是大量的所以 case like being hunted in large numbers. 所以一个字的话 massive 这个字如果直接取代全部的话，把 massive 变成 massively 所以你可以说 this species disappeared a century ago because of being hunted massively 或是 in large numbers 以大量的怎样被捕杀 okay. So like if we made it impossible for passenger pigeons to exist again, there's no knowing whether they will still be able to live in their own habitats. 这个地方的 it 就指的说后面的这个东西。所以如果你说 if we make existing again possible for passenger pigeons， 所以这个地方的 it 只是后面的句型，就跟这一课的 we consider it important to drink enough water every day。这个地方是一个虚的受词，拿来指后面的东西。Z. And here for there is no knowing this would be a mini expression of Med 11. So here, could you please read examples together? She's very unpredictable. So there's no knowing how she'll react to the news. So when you say there's no knowing with blah blah blah, just mean you cannot forecast, you cannot predict. 可是这地方用法稍微注意一下，后面通常接一件事情哦。所以如果你说 there is no knowing what the result of the contest will be， 对于比赛的结果没有人可以预料，这个地方就是用 there is no knowing， 这个地方是固定的，所以这个地方前面就是 there is no knowing，there is no knowing， 这四个字是固定的哦。所以如果你说没有人可以预料周末的交通好不好，周末的天气怎么样 ，there is no knowing how the weather will be over the weekend。所以当你用的时候，后面接一件事情 ，it's okay。So like here this word, would you please read it together? Unpredictable.
Unpredictable.
Are you an unpredictable person? Who is the most predictable person in your class? If you think that it's very easy to predict how she would react to something. Is Anita a predictable person? Is it easy for you to predict what she might say? Really? So like did Anita ever get angry? How would she react when she gets angry? Claire, as her neighbor, how would she react when she gets angry? 没有声音。She never gets angry? Really? Okay. So like what might happen if Yufang did Yufang ever get angry in our class? No. No? So like what might happen if Melody sees someone she likes? What might she act when she sees someone she likes? Angry? Okay. So like it's very easy for me to predict what Marina might act when she sees someone she likes. Very easy. Yeah. But like here for me, it's kind of hard for me to predict what, I don't know, like did teacher ever get angry in our class? Really? So like what might she act when she get angry? Okay. I would say like sometimes it's hard to predict like what others. Really? Like did Winnie get angry before? Really? What might she act when she gets angry? Anyway, like here, there is no knowing. We cannot predict whether they will be able to live in their own habitats. Will they crowd out any remaining species? 这地方的 crowd 稍微注意一下。If you use the word crowd, you mean a group of people or animals. But here 这地方如果当动词的话，变成是这边 here 当排挤哦。可这地方的排挤不是指的是关系上面 ，no. It's about the space. For example, you might say like 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven is the biggest convenience store chain in Taiwan. 是最大的连锁商品店。可是这地方如果你说convenience store chains might crowd out local shops when they occupy too many spots in the local area. 这地方如果你只是说连锁商店会把当地的商店的空间排挤掉的话，这个地方指的就是 crowd out。所以 crowd out 本身是指的是威胁到原本的空间。所以你说商店影响到生态，或者你说like Starbucks. Many people said that Starbucks or other international cafes, when they started to enter a country, they would crowd out the rest of the local cafes because customers, they would all go to the cafes and they would influence the business of other original local businesses. It's okay? Yeah, this is it. So like here, before we move on, please read the part once again. Flocks of migrating passenger pigeons. Up in the sky, and it sounded like thunder when they flapped their wings. This species vanished a century ago because of being on a massive scale. If we make it possible for passenger pigeons to exist again, there's no knowing whether they will be able to live in their own habitats. Will they crowd out any remaining 方的 great consumption 就是提醒你说，这边的 consumption means they're eating of the seeds. So like here the word great 是程度的高低，所以 use the word great. So like here like will their enormous consumption, will their great consumption talk about the amount of food the pigeons might consume once they become alive again. It's okay, yeah. So like just one more part, particularly that some people believe that humans are responsible for the extinction of certain animals, which obliges us to correct the situation. As the environmentalist Stuart Rain once said, humans have made a huge hole in nature. We have the ability now to repair some of that damage. 这地方这个字呢，之前没有遇到过。Could you please read it once again? Oblige. Yeah. So like here, some people believe that humans. Oh, this would be this environmentalist Stuart Rain. Yeah, this guy. And the reason why I'm showing you the face of this guy is because, in the year of 2013. 在2013年的时候呢，那一场在一开始就跟大家讲的那个yeah, this would be Stuart Rain. Yeah, he's still alive. He's still alive, and he's a very important figure. 这个地方他就跟谁很重要的？刘克襄大家知道吗？刘克襄，知道哦。生态作家，他的角色呢就跟刘克襄，就跟吴念真很像。等于说他在美国呢，就是鼓励说，in order to preserve in order to conserve the habitats, we should do something further to bring animals back to life. 所以这地方它其实是美国很有影响力的社会运动的一个学者 ，like that for your information. It's okay. So I guess some people believe that humans are responsible for the extinction of certain animals, which obliges us to blah blah blah. 这地方 are responsible for easy, right? 可这地方会另外一个字好了，之前比较少提到 A 开头，如果讲到 responsible， 因为这个字之前教过了 ，A 开头的，他需要解释一下他为什么要这样做。She needed to A 开头的，account。所以这地方如果是 accountable， 就指的是应该要去解释的。所以这地方 account 这边可能你记得是不同的意思，可是这地方的 account 当动词说指的是 account for 解释一件事情。So if you say somebody is accountable for something, you mean a person should be responsible for explaining something which happened before. 所以这地方 accountable 指的是应该要负责任的，意思有点变调哦。这个字以后不知道会出现。But like here in reading, most of the time the word accountable just means should be responsible for something which happened before. It's okay. So here, could you please read over together accountable? Thank you. So here, which obliges us to correct the situation. So here the word which, 逗号, does it mean animals? No, it means the whole thing. 这件事情为什么？因为这地方是单数哦，所以等于说解释成 this whole thing, the extinction of animals makes it necessary for us to blah blah blah. 所以这地方的 which 解释前面的这整件事情，因为看到单数，所以意思上变成是说，这个动物灭绝的事情呢，使得我们要 oblige us to correct the situation. So when you say something obliges you to do another thing, could you please read the example? He suffered a serious injury. Serious injury that obliged him to give up work. 所以这地方的 oblige 其实是第8课的字，可是因为我们跳过没有教，所以就在这边提一下。Oblige just means makes it necessary for another person to do something. So in Chinese it means this. The second meaning, I guess, would be easier for you to know. Force. 所以这个意思为什么这样呢？这个地方责成，这个地方大概只有在公文会看到。为什么要写这个字？因为 oblige is usually a word used for formal and official documents. 这个字 oblige 当中的话指的是比较正式的用法，所以搭配中文的意思在这里。所以通常在第二个意思呢，强迫变成是对话当中，如果你只是使他不得不，责任就是you give somebody the responsibility to do something， 就是给他那个责任要去达成那个事情。所以中文的责成有点像是在中文上面这样写，所以 oblige 是一个比较正式的用法，知道就好。 以及但是这个地方另外一个意思呢比较常用，指的是使某人不得不怎么样，所以这样形成说他严重的受伤，使得他不得不暂时不要工作这样的意思。It's okay。所以后面这个地方另外一个字你以前学过的就是 require。So like here, like in our conversation, we will use the word require, but like for formal and official documents, we use the word oblige. 或是你只是很强烈的状况的时候，也会用 oblige. 所以一般来说 oblige, require, similar meanings, but the word oblige more serious and more formal. 可是另外一个字就是比较常用的了，指的是名词化这个字。Could you please read together obligation? Obligation 是一个很常用的字哦，就指的是 this 义务。So you can say it is our obligation to follow the law. So like if you say it is somebody's obligation, 这个字就是很常用的字，就指的是某人的义务、某人的职责。So you can say it is the security's obligation to make sure of someone's identity before he or her goes into the building. 所以这个地方 obligation 就比较常见，指的是义务。以及，但是 oblige 当动词的时候呢，第二个意思就指的是使某人不得不做某事。可是第一个意思解释成交办某人一个职务，这个意思比较少见，第二个意思比较常见。以及，所以第二个意思就是常讲的 require. Okay, yeah. Alright, so this is it. Before we move on, just need to read the promise again. Some people believe that humans are responsible for the extinction of certain animals, which obliges us to correct the situation. As a environmentalist Stuart Wayne once said, humans have made a huge hole in nature. We have the ability now to repair some of that damage. Yeah, this is it. Thank you. Let's take a break. And two things. Number one.